Hello, it's Gamer Aftershift. If you're looking to unwind with Steelrising after a tough day, these top 10 beginner tips will make your experience way smoother. Let's jump right in. Number 1. Use verticality while exploring. Traversal in Steelrising is fantastic, offering lots of hidden areas full of loot and hidden secrets. However, the game lacks a GPS system like many in the genre, which can make navigation tricky. This can both be a challenge and a blessing, as it encourages more exploration. Steel Rising stands out by offering more mobility options, letting you unlock new platforming capabilities that's quite uncommon in the genre. So, don't overlook potential platforms to climb or hidden ground entrances that could lead to loots. Exploring thoroughly can give you a crucial edge in combat later on. Number 2. Prioritize the main storyline early on. Spiders, the developer of Steel Rising, is known for its deep storytelling, and they don't disappoint here. However, focusing on the story from the start isn't just about enjoying the narrative. Progressing through the main story unlocks key moves that makes both combat and exploration much easier. These new abilities can open up areas you couldn't reach before and give you new ways to handle tougher enemies. It's worth investing time in unlocking these three abilities early so you can fully enjoy the game's exploration and combat before diving into side quests. Number 3. Avoid muskets early. Early in the game, you'll come across a Charlesville shield musket in the starting area, which might seem tempting to use. Muskets are great because they allow for range attacks without consuming stamina, keeping you safe from up-close danger. But there's a catch. Muskets consume a lot of alchemical capsules, which are expensive and hard to come by early in the game. That's why many alchemist builds require high engineering attribute to maximize capsule drops. There's even a module in La Cité that can help with this. So, if you're leaning towards a musket build, be prepared for a heavy resource investment, and always keep a backup melee weapon for when your capsules run dry. Number 4. Focus on upgrading weapons over stats. A common beginner mistake is focusing too much on stats, thinking they'll make the game easier quickly. While stats do improve your combat experience, upgrading your weapon gives a much bigger boost to your combat effectiveness. Weapon upgrades provide immediate increases in damage, making fights quicker and easier. Stats, on the other hand, offer gradual improvements. A good rule of thumb is to upgrade your chosen weapon to level 4 until you're absolutely sure it's the one for you. Then you can max it out, because materials needed to level 5 a weapon is quite scarce. Investing in a weapon you enjoy using will pay off more than spreading your resources too thinly on different upgrades. Number 5. Choose a weapon you enjoy. Speaking of choosing weapons, while some guides may suggest the best weapon, it's really about what suits your playstyle. You can beat Steel Rising with any weapon, so don't shy away from using one that feels good to you, even if it's not the top choice on tier lists. Remember to balance your primary and secondary weapon with your main attributes so that you have options in different combat situations. This approach ensures that you're having fun while maintaining combat efficiency, making it easier to stay engaged with the game. We're halfway through. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep watching until the end because the final tip might surprise you and change how you approach the game. In the meantime, leave down in the comments what you think would be the best options or tips for a beginner. Let's continue with the list. Number 6. Avoid hybrid builds. For now. It's tempting to spread out your stat points and experiment with a hybrid build, but it's best to stick to a focused approach in the early game. Stats tend to have diminishing returns as you level them up, meaning each point has less impact the more you invest, except when the stat hits level 20. At that point, the bonuses becomes more substantial, making it worth the investment. So, decide early whether you want a faster playstyle with fans or blades, a focus on heavy hitting impacts with disc or hammers, or use batons and alchemical attacks. This helps you avoid spreading your points too thin, especially since there's no respec option to correct mistakes. Number 7. Guess enemy elemental weaknesses. Enemies in Steelrising have elemental weaknesses that can make combat much easier, but the game doesn't directly tell you what these are. To find these weaknesses, you can either check the codex for enemy lore or use the classic trial and error approach. Observe an enemy element. If they use fire, they're likely weak to ice. If they wield ice, fulmination is probably effective, and fulmination is countered by fire. However, you have to be careful as sometimes this isn't the case. Try to play around with the elements to provide extra help during tougher battles. Let me know in the comments if you found any different patterns or have your own tips to identify these weaknesses. Number 8. Master the stamina system. The stamina system in Steelrising is unique thanks to its overheating mechanic. Every action Aegis takes, besides running, uses stamina, and if you push her too far, she'll enter a recovery phase where she can't attack or dodge. This can leave you vulnerable in critical moments. Timing the active cooling mechanic is crucial. Hitting the prompt correctly will let you recover faster, but spamming it can slow you down instead. This is especially important during boss fights, where managing your stamina can mean the difference between a quick recovery or a punishing setback. Number 9. Lock and unlock targets wisely. Locking onto enemies is a straightforward but essential tactic in Steelrising, as it helps you focus your attacks and avoid wasting stamina on missed strikes. However, staying locked onto a target can limit your mobility and camera movement, especially if you need to reposition quickly. Make locking onto enemies your default combat opener, but don't be afraid to unlock during fights, especially against bosses, when you need to regain control over your positioning or make a quick escape. And the last and final tip to help you better quickly in Steelrising is number 10. Customize your shortcuts and master them. Steelrising allows you to switch between items quickly using a gamepad wheel or key bindings on a keyboard. Knowing how to access your items fast is crucial during tense combat scenarios. Your inventory is more than just oil vials and burette. It can be a lifeline in tricky battles. Practice rotating your items to find what works best for you, and don't underestimate the value of switching weapons mid-fight to adapt to different situations. Finding your preferred setup and mastering it will make you more efficient and adaptable fighter. Playing Steelrising after a long day can be tough, especially if you're still learning the ropes, but with these tips, you'll master the game quicker, allowing you to focus on enjoying the world and story without getting bogged down in frustration. Time is precious, especially for those with commitments and obligations, so I'm hoping this video helped. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share your own beginner tips in the comments below to help other newcomers to Steelrising. Thank you for watching. It's Gamer After Shift.